Okay, this is a grade 8 forfer on chapter 2 on proportional reasoning, section 2.3 from your grade 8 Mathlix. For those of you who have not done these questions, simply press pause and try it out, and then unpause and watch the solution to make sure you're doing it correctly. The first question says, it's $24 for 5 cans. How much is it for 6 cans? Okay. So this idea of equality can be thought of as being proportional. Oh my God almighty, I can't spell the word proportion. Proportion. No. It's proportional to instead of equal to. So when we read this, we can say $24 for 5 cans is proportional to how much for 6 cans. So the method it asks us to solve it in is unit rate. So if it is $24 for 5 cans, the first thing we're going to do is solve it for 1 can. We're going to figure out what the cost is for 1 can. And in order to use proportionality, it's the same thing as equality with fractions. Whatever we divide the first term of our rate by, we can divide the second term and maintain proportionality. So $24, if I take my calculator, $24 divided between those 5 cans means it's $4.80 per can. So it's $4.80 for 1 can. Now, once we have what's called a unit rate, meaning the price per can or per whatever happens to be looking for, the second term is 1, we could then find out how much it would be for 6 cans by multiplying the first and second term of my rate by 6. And when I multiply $4.80 by 6, I better use my calculator because I'm not that brilliant. $4.80 multiplied by 6 is $28.80 for 6 cans, and that's my answer. So the answer is, therefore, 6 cans would cost you $28.80. Your second question says, use the division multiplication method to determine the missing part. Something can travel 600 kilometers in 3 hours. How far or how many kilometers could it travel in 12 hours? Now, just like fractions, if I could figure out what I multiply the bottom term by to get 12, in this case 4, if I multiply the first term by that same number, I maintain proportionality, and I would realize that you would go 2,400 kilometers in 12 hours, and that's the solution. So sometimes this method works. If you could see how you went from 3 to 12 through multiplication or division, that's usually the easiest method to use for simple proportions. In this particular one, in the third question, $1.80 for 5.6 grams of something is proportional to how much for 3.9 grams. As we can see here, I don't know what I multiply or divide 5.6 by to get 3.9, so that particular method doesn't work well. But the method it asks you to use is the algebraic method, or what we call the cross multiplication method. And what that means is, if the unknown part is a part of a proportion, if you multiply across the equal sign, you will create one side of an algebraic equation. You then put down your equal sign, and you multiply the other way to create the other side of that. So in this case, I would take my $1.80 and multiply it by 3.9, and you would get 7.02. Okay? So what you do is you create this algebraic equation from a proportion, and when you solve for the missing value, you take your 7.02, and you divide it by 5.6, because here I would isolate the variable by dividing both sides by 5.6. And when you do so, you get approximately 1.25. I'll put my approximate symbol. So it's x is approximately equal to $1.25 per 3.9 grams. That's the rate. Okay, so the missing value is $1.25. And finally, your last question says it's something travels 1.8 kilometers in 2.5 minutes. How far would it go in an hour? So any method is reasonable. Now, for those people who are fairly astute, 2.5 minutes, 2 of those would be 5. 12 of those would be 60. So if I was to multiply this by, I think, 24, let me just double check that. So 2.5 multiplied by 24 is 60. So if you wanted to use the multiplication method, you could figure out what you multiply first and second term by. So 2.5 minutes times 24 is 60 minutes, which of course is better known as 1 hour. So you can use the multiplication method if you want. Another way you could do it is the cross multiplication method. So what I want to do is I want to change this h. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to change that hour to 60 minutes because it's important that whatever units of time or measurement or cost or distance or whatever it happens to be, in both rates or ratios, you need to maintain the same unit. So the first one's in minutes, so the second one, even though it said hours, you should change it to minutes. And once you do that, if you use the algebraic method, you would have 2.5x equals the product of 1.8 and 60, which is 108. So we'd multiply this way as well. And then we simply divide both sides by 2.5, and we'd have our solution. In this case, if I did that, 108 divided by 2.5 is 43.2. And therefore, if it travels 1.8 in 2.5 minutes, it would travel 43.2 kilometers per hour.